On Christmas Day 2025, as families gathered around festive tables and cities across Europe sparkled with holiday lights, a very different scene was unfolding far to the north. Russia launched two Tu-95 strategic bombers, sending them on a 7-hour mission over the icy expanse of the Barents and Norwegian Seas. These flights, conducted in the frigid Arctic air, were not just routine patrols, they were a demonstration of power and reach. The Bear bombers, as they're known in NATO circles, are capable of carrying nuclear weapons. Their presence near NATO airspace was officially described by Moscow as standard procedure, but the timing and location sent a message that was impossible to ignore. The bombers' flight path traced the very edges of Norway and other NATO countries, carefully avoiding direct violation but coming close enough to trigger alarm bells in Western capitals. The proximity to sensitive borders heightened anxieties among military planners and political leaders alike. By conducting such a high-profile patrol on Christmas Day, Russia signaled that its military vigilance does not waver, even during the world's most celebrated holidays. The message was clear. Readiness and deterrence are priorities, regardless of the season. For countries bordering the Arctic and the North Atlantic, this was a stark reminder that geopolitical tensions persist, undeterred by festive occasions. The sense of unease was palpable in government offices and among citizens alike. Every maneuver like this is analyzed for its deeper significance, especially in the wake of Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Intelligence agencies and military analysts pore over radar data and flight patterns, searching for clues about Moscow's intentions. Was this simply a training exercise, or a calculated test of NATO's readiness and resolve? The distinction is crucial, as each flight has the potential to escalate tensions or reveal vulnerabilities. These questions are at the heart of security discussions, shaping defense policies and influencing the fragile balance of power in the region. Leaders must weigh every action and response with care. As the world watches closely, each flight over the Arctic becomes more than a military maneuver. It's a signal, a test, and a reminder that in this era of uncertainty, every move matters. The Russian Tu-95 bombers, Cold War icons known as Bears, are still central to Russia's strategic arsenal. With their distinctive swept-back wings and roaring turboprop engines, these aircraft have become a symbol of Russian air power for over 6 decades. Despite their age, the Tu-95 remains a formidable presence in the skies, a testament to both their robust engineering and the ongoing modernization efforts by the Russian military. Modernized and missile-capable, they can launch nuclear or conventional cruise missiles from thousands of miles away. These bombers are equipped with advanced avionics and electronic warfare systems, allowing them to adapt to modern threats and missions. Their ability to carry a wide range of payloads makes them a versatile tool for both deterrence and power projection. The Christmas Day flight showcased their endurance and Russia's ability to project power far from home. Flying over the vast, icy expanses of the Arctic, these bombers demonstrated not only their range, but also the logistical coordination required for such missions, including mid-air refueling and navigation in extreme conditions. But they weren't alone. NATO fighters, likely from Norway, intercepted and escorted the bombers, a standard but tense procedure. These intercepts are carefully choreographed, with NATO pilots scrambling to identify and shadow the Russian aircraft as they approach Alliance airspace. These encounters are a high-stakes dance. Pilots identify, shadow, and ensure the bombers stay in international airspace. Every maneuver is watched closely, as both sides test each other's resolve and readiness, all while maintaining strict protocols to avoid misunderstandings. Both sides are highly trained, maintaining professionalism to avoid escalation. Years of experience and discipline are required to keep these interactions from spiraling into dangerous confrontations, even as tensions simmer just below the surface. Such interactions highlight the constant vigilance and underlying tension in these border regions. Radar operators, ground controllers, and pilots all play a role in this ongoing game of cat and mouse, where a single misstep could have serious consequences. Every close encounter is a reminder of the risks and the professionalism required to keep the peace. Communication, discipline, and mutual respect are essential, as the margin for error is razor-thin at these speeds and altitudes. The skies above the Arctic are a stage for this ongoing strategic contest. Here, the world's great powers test each other's limits, using technology, skill, and sheer presence to send messages without words. Each flight is both a message and a test, a demonstration of strength, a signal of intent, and a reminder that, even in the coldest reaches of the planet, the balance of power is always in motion. Russia insists these bomber flights are routine, scheduled missions, not provocations. Moscow emphasizes that its aircraft remain in international airspace, strictly following international law. This legal framing is meant to deflect accusations of aggression and present the flights as normal military business. Russia regularly conducts such patrols over the Arctic, Atlantic, Black, and Pacific Oceans, projecting itself as a global military power. Yet, these flights are more than routine. They're strategic signals to NATO and the world. Flying nuclear-capable bombers near NATO borders is a deliberate show of strength. The official statements may stress legality, but the subtext is unmistakable. Russia is asserting its presence and readiness. These flights are a form of communication in the ongoing geopolitical standoff. Power is projected not just by words, but by wings in the sky. NATO's response to Russian bomber flights is swift and serious. As soon as the bombers appear on radar, fighter jets scramble to intercept and escort them, confirming their identity and intentions. This is more than protocol, it's a message. We see you, and we're ready. Since the Ukraine war, NATO's eastern and northern flanks are on constant alert, with every Russian movement analyzed for potential threats. These high-tempo operations strain resources and increase the risk of miscalculation. Close encounters between rival aircraft can escalate quickly if professionalism lapses. That's why clear communication and discipline are essential in these tense moments. The stakes are high, and every flight is a test of nerves and readiness. The Christmas Day flight was part of a broader pattern of Russian military activity. Recent months have seen similar flights near NATO's borders and joint patrols with China over East Asia, prompting regional air forces to scramble. These coordinated missions signaled deepening military ties between Russia and China, challenging Western influence. Long-range bomber patrols serve multiple purposes: training crews, testing defenses, and sending political messages. The return of these Cold War-style flights marks a new era of strategic competition. Each patrol probes defenses and asserts presence without crossing into open conflict. Analysts track these flights closely for clues about Russia's evolving strategy. The significance of these flights is inseparable from the ongoing war in Ukraine. Since 2022, Europe's security landscape has been transformed, with NATO reinforcing its eastern borders and Russia using military maneuvers as intimidation. Bomber patrols near NATO airspace are now seen as nuclear signaling, meant to sow uncertainty and deter Western support for Ukraine. The Arctic flights are part of Russia's multi-front strategy, demonstrating reach while fighting a ground war. Meanwhile, Russia is building alliances with China and North Korea, further shifting the global balance. These moves are about more than Ukraine. They're about challenging the Western-led order. Every bomber flight is a piece of this larger geopolitical chess game. The stakes are global and the risks are real. Russia's increased Arctic patrols have spurred a wave of military cooperation among NATO's northern members. The UK and Norway recently signed a naval pact to hunt Russian submarines in the North Atlantic, pooling resources for greater security. Norway is investing in new submarines and missiles, reflecting deep concern about regional stability. Other countries like Sweden and Belgium are urging greater defense readiness and public support for higher military spending. The Arctic is no longer a quiet backwater. It's a focus of military buildup and alliance strengthening. Rather than being intimidated, these nations are hardening their defenses. The message is clear. The region is preparing for a more uncertain future. At first glance, a pair of bombers soaring over the vast, frozen Arctic might seem like a routine military exercise, barely worth a headline. But in reality, these flights are far more than simple training runs. They are deliberate, calculated messages sent across the world stage, signaling intent and capability to both allies and adversaries alike. When nuclear-capable aircraft approach NATO borders, the world takes notice. These maneuvers are designed to showcase military strength, but they also serve another purpose: to probe and test the readiness and resolve of opposing forces, gauging how quickly and effectively they respond. For Russia, these flights are invaluable opportunities for training, allowing crews to practice complex operations in harsh conditions. They also gather intelligence, monitoring NATO's reactions, and collecting data on air defense systems and communication protocols. For NATO, every incursion is a real-world test of readiness. Pilots scramble, command centers go on high alert, and the alliance's ability to coordinate a rapid response is put to the test, sometimes with only minutes to spare. These flights are not just about military posturing. They contribute to the ongoing militarization of the Arctic, a region whose strategic value is rising as climate change opens new shipping lanes and exposes untapped resources, drawing global attention and competition. With more aircraft in the skies, the risk of dangerous encounters grows. Near misses and miscommunications can quickly escalate, raising the specter of accidents or unintended conflict in these remote, unforgiving environments. Smaller nations, especially those bordering the Arctic, feel the mounting pressure. They are forced to reconsider their own defense strategies, invest in new capabilities, and sometimes even rethink their alliances in response to the shifting security landscape. Above all, these flights are a stark reminder of the deepening mistrust between Russia and the West. Diplomatic channels grow colder, and opportunities for dialogue are replaced by shows of force and suspicion. In today's tense geopolitical climate, every maneuver is scrutinized. Analysts and leaders alike watch for hidden meanings, and even routine patrols are interpreted as potential threats. These bomber patrols are not just relics of the Cold War. They are symptoms of a new, more confrontational era, where military might is once again used to send unmistakable signals. To truly understand the fragility of peace in our time, we must pay attention to these events in the skies above the Arctic, where every flight carries a message, and every message has consequences for the world below. The Christmas Day bomber flight was more than a training run. It was a signal in a world on edge. Russia's official narrative of routine is overshadowed by the context, heightened tensions, rapid military buildups, and deep mistrust. Northern Europe is responding with new alliances and defense investments, fueling a cycle of militarization. For ordinary people, these distant flights are barometers of global tension. The frequency and boldness of such patrols reveal the state of international relations. Watching the skies is about more than tracking planes. It's about understanding intentions in an uncertain world. Professionalism in the air is crucial, but so is vigilance on the ground. The quest for peace demands attention, analysis, and a clear-eyed view of the risks ahead.